Hey everyone, welcome back to Heart in Liverpool with OLFC
Jake,
Toronto. How's it going, Dan?
not bad, not bad. How are you?
Very good. It seems to be just the two of us at the moment, so I'll just change our setup a little bit to look like this. How's it
Nice
going?
kits. I like the kits in the
Thank
back
you.
there,
Yeah,
man. You
yeah, I
got
just
like the
moved, as you know,
wow, yeah.
so got a little
Wow, what a
setup with all
collection.
my kits behind me.
It's a
Yeah,
hell
so
of a
it's just
connection. Yeah.
a lot of the Liverpool ones behind me there, but maybe
Yeah.
conversation for another day, just because we've got so much to talk about. Oh, there's Jake. So hang on, let me go back to the three setup.
hmm
There he is. Hey, Jake,
Nice,
how's it
nice.
going?
Presidente is up in here. There we go.
I think he's still trying to
Yeah.
connect. So while
Setting
he's
it up.
still trying to connect,
Yeah.
Dan, how are you doing?
Excellent. Yeah, no. I think it's been a great season so far, and there's Jake. Yeah, and just excited for the rest of the season. Obviously last weekend was amazing. So let's see where it goes. Cautiously
And
optimistic.
Jake, how you doing? You connected?
Very good. Very good. Good to see
No,
you,
we.
boys.
Oh yeah,
Can you hear me? No. Yeah. No. Maybe
yeah,
not.
we can, we can.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Good to see you,
Yeah,
boys. Again, I echo Dan's sentiments. Great time to be us. And no matter what the rhetoric is around the world, I love where we got, and it makes life that much better to be in the spot that we're in, the envious spot that we're in.
absolutely. Well, let's get into it because
Mhm.
before we talk about the thing that I guess we're out of the three the most confident about, we've got that small matter on Wednesday of a really big Champions League game. Now, I want to hear both of your thoughts on how you think the game will go. I guess even how you think the tie over two legs will go. But before we talk about that, is it fair that the top team is playing the team that ended up finishing like were they like the 13th or 14th, I think it was. We obviously live in North America where the first seed plays the last seed, and like it's probably a little bit fairer. But yeah, what are your thoughts around that? Dan, could start with you. Like,
Yeah.
we're playing Paris Saint-Germain, it's not a small feat, or a small task, I
Yeah.
should say.
Especially away in the first leg, I think there's that. But I actually want to just go on a little bit of a tangent as a diehard Leaf fan. I know what
Oh,
it's like.
oh, here we go. Here we go.
So I was gonna say I know what it's like to um yeah. Anyway, maybe I'll just leave the Leaf reference out for now. But
No, but you got to
no, I
finish your
think
point. You know what it's like to, because I genuinely don't know what you're going to say.
no, I actually, funny enough, I actually forgot the point because
Oh,
I
okay,
had
never
the
mind.
point, but then I actually forgot about it. So I'm like, hey, I think it was what like something that you said triggered me, but then I was like, and then we
About the
anyway.
seeds, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, that's what it was. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's exactly
yeah,
it. Yeah, as a diehard Leaf fan, as you know, or if you don't know,
yeah.
Jake knows, I guess, that we've been qualifying like the past few seasons, have a great team, but the thing is, we've never won the division, or at least been like lower in like the way in which the NHL have changed their playoff format has meant that like the best, similar to what's happened to us here in the Champions League, which is effectively like the best team and the worst seeded team like not don't necessarily play each other.
Right,
It's like
right,
there's
right,
like
right.
wild card format. There's all these different sort of rules within there, which kind of is annoying because it's like, well, you don't really know definitively. Like it's a bit of a math course to like really figure it out. But anyway, with the CL format, I actually I'm okay with it. I mean, what else can we be, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, like you saw some of the other teams just struggle to get in. So we could have drawn like a Madrid, or maybe not. I'm not sure what the whole seeding was, but I mean, if they had to lose a few more points or whatever, then we may have faced them or even City or something like that. So at the end of the day, I think grateful, but I love that we have the home fixture back in Anfield. At the end of the day, we can bring that atmosphere. I love that part, and the thing is the week rest. Everyone shat on us for Plymouth right away and all that kind of stuff, but now that really, I know you're a big when is the fixture kind of guy, and like the rest and everything else. So that's been huge. I don't know, Jake, what do you think about that? Like, I kind of feel like
I think it's a very
it.
interesting premise
Yeah,
to what you're all saying that you
yeah,
know, why did you go? Why were we first? Right? Why push to get to first? What are the accolades? What's the not accolades? What's why? Right? Apart from financial things, whatever.
Benefit.
So what's the point? And so why do you kill yourself to be there instead of like middle of the pack? The whole notion, and has been in at least North American sports, is the first will play the last place in that round, right? It is a different iteration for sure. This weekend I was watching them play Lille, I think, and they are a very different squad from yesteryear. The stars are not really like Dembele's one of their guys, but I did enjoy like they press. They're kind of like in terms of like I feel like they were like a junior us to certain points of the match. They've got speed. They've got some good things going on in their squad. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think I love the fact that we do, to your points, we have a week rest. There are several players that need that rest, like really need that rest. They've been hit, like you look at Maka's face, you look at this, that. There's so many people that are injured that need that time frame, and we have never been afforded that kind of luxury to kind of have like literally one game or two games in the month of March from a PL perspective or whatever the breakout is. So it's really weird not to have, that three games, but just how this is played out. But I think that, of course, he's also given them a couple of days break, right? Like just away from footy to reset. And I think that is also a thing where, listen, fruits of your labor, go play with your family, go to some hot destination for a minute, recharge the batteries, but still keep your mind on the fact that you've got some big things coming up. But just listen, you're doing very well. The team's doing well. So I think that from a cultural dynamic, that's very, very good. But I'm eager to see what the game's going to be in a number of days, and this is what we want to be. We want to be in the Champions League. We want to be in all the cups. We want to be in everything, and this is great to be in this space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
It's interesting because Paris don't seem to lose, but then who are they playing, right? Like they've played Bayern Munich this year, they lost. They played Atletico Madrid this year, they've lost. They were losing 2-0 to City. Obviously, City haven't been great this season anyway. But really, if you look at the fixtures, they're not going to get beaten by a lot of the teams that they're playing week in, week out, sometimes twice a week. But they do still concede goals and they can be got at, so it's going to be really interesting in Paris in particular. Obviously at Anfield they can sell the fans the story of the fact that we've got a lead or something to hold on to, so they could potentially come to Anfield and like park a bus and get one of those like pacey wingers. But like, how are they going to play at in Paris where they are always the alpha team in France? And yeah, the records show the two times they've played someone who arguably are as good as them, if not better than them, Bayern Munich and Atletico, they've lost both times. So either of you, like, what how do you see the game going this Wednesday?
Did they lose? Actually, on that point, Azaz, did they lose at home or did they lose away?
I can't remember that
not
one.
sure. Yeah, because like I mean, if you remember the last time we played them in the reverse fixture, sort of away, it was a Neymar goal, I think it was, something. It was like one of those like, it was like it wasn't a great finish, if I'm not mistaken, or it could have been. I'm not sure, but anyway, I think it was 1-0 or something like that, right? Or it was 2-1, but we went through, right? It was.
They were really good. Well, it's that game. So this series you're talking about, I believe, is the year we win the Champions League. Correct? Right? Yeah.
That one.
So it's the year we win the
group
Champions
match,
League,
right? It was the group game, I think, right?
Yeah.
It was the way fixture. It was the last game that didn't really mean anything.
No, the last game's Napoli. No, the last game's Napoli where Reina makes that crazy save.
Yeah.
So we win the first game with the Bobby goal where he covers his eye.
Yes.
And then in the reverse game in Paris, we were second best. We were. I don't remember the score, but they were better.
We were under the cosh quite a bit. Yeah. Anyway, but playing at the Parc des Princes, like I feel we don't. You know what surprised me this year versus last year was that I've always felt we hadn't under Klopp. I felt we didn't really fare well on big pitches because the Klopp's press and his constant sort of movement will tire you out on a bigger pitch at the end of the day. And so tighter pitches are better for us and that kind of thing. However, we don't play that way anymore. We actually play a different a different game. So we may cede a lot of control, I think, to them and give them the opportunity, and then give that sort of false sense of hope where we can hit them back on the counter. And if you have Cody running, and if you have Diaz, I think it'll be Cody, Diaz, and Mo, or we could even see like what happened at City, which was like a good, for like a midfield four there, across the, who knows, right? Because they're all rested. Then we have Southampton, so I don't know. Does that play a factor? I don't know. I don't think so, but you never know. Yeah.
Jake, thoughts on Wednesday? Then we'll get on to Saturday.
I don't know if is this the next game after. So is this the next game that the Liverpool has played after the Champions League final in Paris? Like, where all of that kerfuffle and all that stuff that happened.
Oh yeah. It's the first time we're back in Paris. Yes,
exactly. Yeah.
It'll
be emotional.
So I'm sure that is in all the players, like the berating of their families, like all that nonsense that they all had to go through on that trip.
Yeah.
Right? Like they went through. I mean, our own fans, like Toronto guys got robbed and things happened there. And those guys, they couldn't get to their families. The fans came at them, like all that nonsense that happened in the stadium.
Crazy.
I'm 100% sure that when they're walking around the stadium, they're going to feel that. Where's my family? What's going on? Where's this? I got to show this. I don't want to deal with that shit. I've got to kind of like, it's going to give them a little bit of a chip, I think, from that. I think that we, I don't know which method and mode we're going to play in. Like, I just don't, right? To your point, Dan, the team evolution has changed. And I like the fact that Slot is technically a little bit unpredictable in terms of like he showed so many different like units and like three front, this, that, the wingers, the wing backs, like pressing, holding back, like so many different aspects, which is really good because we haven't seen that kind of like tactical like prowess for quite some time, right? We know heavy metal football, and that was for a long duration. Then you kind of step back and you change it because it got found out a little bit. But now, did you expect that kind of like lack of control in terms of like it's control without control in terms of City? I did not expect that at all. And they defended as a unit, a solid team unit, which was fantastic. And so the thing is that like my mind is racing as to what they're going to put on that pitch, which is great because I realize that any option that he puts in, he's thought about it. He understands their weak points. He's going to like, jig the team to kind of press them, whether it's like the midfield, whether it's their wing backs, whatever, whoever. I don't know who their weak links are. I know the midfield kind of a little bit and a bit to your point, defense. But he'll put like if it's Jota from then, if it's Nunez, whomever, it's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it completely.
But don't you have a bit of PTSD from like from those matches at so how we played at City, we score first and then score again. But I mean, it was like sort of like inviting the pressure on, and I felt like initially kind of like that PTSD, which is like, oh man, this is like City at home. Like they're gonna why are we giving away? Yeah, like why are we giving away? I was like, why are we giving away possession? And because it's coming kind of thing, right? Because Arsenal did the same thing. Not to mention that club, but they did the same thing, and they were quite well organized and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, in the end, with the like that Holland or the winner there, but I kind of felt like, when is it coming? When is it coming? And if we play like that, are we that sound? But it was really surprising that we held through, kept the clean sheet, and then like you could even argue, maybe not Newcastle as much because I think we dominated that a little bit more, but it felt like if we can do that to City, and yes, it's City, they're not having the best of form, but can really do that to a lot of other teams. So like I'm not as like with like going away and doing that, and we may have to do that. I mean, if we can get a result, draw is actually not a bad result. Like I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I feel like a draw is not too bad. If not, I mean, hey, you always want to win, but I mean, away, like I don't mind taking that right now if that's the case.
Yeah, so a couple of things. So, firstly, it is a different stadium to where the whole mess happened in
Yeah, it is,
2022.
right? Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, it's Parc de France, not Stade de France. So,
Mhm,
hopefully, that we don't have that PTSD, or the players don't have that PTSD.
mhm.
I don't know, man. I think the team in their team the last time was, to me, was way better. Like, you can say
Yeah, yeah.
it's all like star-studded names and stuff. Like, it doesn't matter, man. Like, when your attack is Mbappe, Cavani,
Mm.
and Neymar, like, that is terrifying, you know? And
Mhm.
like, we had Lovren playing last time. We had Joe Gomez at right back, which isn't his position,
Yeah.
you know? So I think, all things considered, like, this generation of Paris, like, I think their fans like them more. Apparently, there's a lot more
Mm.
soul, and it's a lot less like
Likeable. Yeah.
Hollywood FC kind of thing. But like, you know, the Vitinias and the Marquinhos is a good player. Hakimi's a good player, but like, they've got a lot. I mean, I don't even particularly rate Dembele now. Watch him come and terrorize
Yeah.
me
Masterclass.
with
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
shout. But like, that like, if he's the guy who's going to play their number 9 and he's going to play against Virgil and even Ibu, like, good luck, mate. You know, obviously they made the big signing with Kvaradona, and we were slightly linked to him anyway. But where he would have played, because we've already got friggin' 2 really informed left wingers anyway. So, and they can't both play, so it's probably a pipe dream that we were going to get this guy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty confident overall over the 2 legs. I think I think Paris are good. I don't think that they're any chumps. I'm not. I don't want to disrespect the whole league, but like, we are really good. We are really, really good. Like, the league
Yeah.
table doesn't lie, and the performances against like Man City and, you know, some of these like big time performances we've been making, that 5-game stand, like 11 points, 11 points out of 15 points, is, if we do go on and see this out, which obviously we all expect to at this point, that's when the league was won, you know. And
Exactly.
to have the gravitas to do that, like, I don't see us going to Paris and buckling. Like, I think we'll park the bus ish, you know, we'll
No
try
pun
and
intended.
control, yeah. And like, I think we'll go from there. But it's gonna be amazing. Are you boys coming out? Are you coming to Elephant and Castle?
Yep.
I'm
Dr.
not sure
Slot,
about that.
Dr. Slot is in the appointment book, so I'm going to
Maybe,
show up.
but I'm not sure. Yeah, I gotta think. I gotta see, but hopefully, if not,
Yeah.
in it for a good match, obviously. And yeah, next week is Tuesday, I think. Right, is the reverse. So yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
so
Exactly.
that'll be interesting too. Yeah.
And before the Tuesday, we have arguably our
Southampton.
easiest game
No,
of the
can't say that.
season.
Can't say
I-
that. Can't
No,
say that.
you like, no, on paper it's the
Oh.
easiest game of the season.
Yeah.
On paper it is. So
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's gonna happen. Doesn't mean we just show up and win. But like, on paper, it's the easiest game of the season. I mean, it's those lucky
Yeah.
Scousers again, right? Like, in between the Champions League, they've got Southampton. Thoughts?
But it is a big big game. I know I know it's seen as almost like a check mark. But the last time, I mean, we played them away. They played actually really well that match. I mean, that was under Russell Martin and all that stuff. But I mean, they played really well, and we were lucky in a way. I wouldn't say lucky, good to be lucky that we pulled it out. At home at Anfield is a different beast. So, I mean, the only thing that could come in the way is like Liverpool beating themselves, right? At the end of the day, I can't see it where, like, you know, so there's an error or there's a red card or something like that. But other than that, I just, like, they are the worst team in the league. Chelsea just smashed them like 4-0 or whatever it was. Like, I'm fully expecting Mo Salah to have a hat trick of assists and maybe a goal, a pen, or something like that. Like, he's going to be a fantasy player's, like, you know, dream on Saturday. And if he isn't, that's okay. But
Yeah.
I think we walk away with it. Yeah. Or run away with it. Sorry. Not walk. Run.
It's
We're gonna do
interesting. Obviously, so if we win, it goes from 13 to 16 points. But the crazy thing is, Arsenal then play 3 times before we play again.
Oh, is it?
So
Really? Okay.
if they were to win their games in hand, sorry, not games in hand. If they were to win their next 3 games, they could potentially bring the points back to 7, although
right.
we would have games in hand, right?
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
interesting how the cookie crumbles, because 7 doesn't feel. Now, I don't think they'll get the 7 because of their striker crisis, but 7 doesn't seem that like robust, right?
They're like one more drop point game away from it's absolutely done. You know, like I mean, I think it's already, but I mean, you never know. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
stranger things have happened in terms of clawing a little bit back, but I just can't see it given their striker situation.
So here's a question, because it's and either of you can answer this. So I'm just going to chuck this out there. Old Trafford on Sunday. Do United throw in the towel? Like, what do they do? Because Amorim needs points. They're this close to being turning on him now.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of their the non-LFC footy channels, but yeah, it's not looking good there. So, but they always seem to have some sort of result in them. But who knows, right?
Not
Jake,
this past weekend, though. Not this past weekend.
Yeah, I know. Their luck ran out.
Past weekend. Not this
Cinderella returned.
I like, normally speaking, I don't like to talk about other teams, especially with us doing so well. But the social media prowess in footy in general, and having the clips here, and having people just talk immense amounts of shit on whatever levels on their squads, and then the team actually plays, and you watch the team, and then you watch these guys berate their own team afterwards, the way it is just absolutely fantastic. It is like I just get the popcorn bucket out and I just watch, and I just like, what are you going to say about, oh, my coach, this, that? And you go to the metrics, right? Like how much money they spend, how much money we spend. You know, those nonsense of like injuries. Oh my God, well, Liverpool has injuries. And depending on who you talk to, that narrative changes. And it's so interesting to see. Of course, from our side of the fence, you know, let's see. So Arsenal doesn't have a front striker, right? Man U has shitty front strikers, right? Who's going to win in that case, right? And so, do they have do the Gunners have enough to go? It's at Old Trafford, yeah. So to go into that space and do what their fans and Robbie and that whole crew of nonsense is hoping for, and I don't see it, to be honest, right? And I think that they'll just, because it's at home in Old Trafford, I think it's going to be a draw. It could be a draw, or it's going to be a 1-0 or 2-1, something like that. The KG affair. Again, I don't even know who's reffing and which ref is going to show up in terms of like, will they ref the game, or will they ref the shit that I've been seeing all throughout the year for every team? Every team. There's not been consistency in the reffing, genre. But from a fan perspective, of course, I'd like to see pain, right? What's the best pain for us to be for them? Is it a draw? Do we watch our arch rivals cry and keep crying? Either way, someone's going to lose, and we're still going to be on top, and that's the crowning glory for me.
Yeah, I think for this, the crazy thing about this is Arsenal have to win every game, right? So if we do the business on Saturday, as we obviously expect the team to at this point, you're going into the game 16 points behind. Now, let's say Bruno does something, because Bruno can do something. Like, for all of the Roy Keane comments last week, like he still showed up against Fulham this week, so Bruno can do something, or, like maybe Bruno or someone will whip something in and like Delay or Maguire or someone gets your head on it. Okay, so then do Arsenal have 2 goals in them just to make it 13 points, and then the following week they go and play Chelsea, but it's at the Emirates. But again, like let's say it's 14. Like let's say, for example, we win. Well, it couldn't be 14 actually. Let's say it's 15, right? So we win and then it's a draw, right? And then what happens then? So that's, I don't know. It's still too early to friggin' really get out the full-blown bunting. Obviously, the traveling cop, the Toronto cop, like we've put it out there, like we're going to win the league. Like it's out there. It's on social. Everyone knows where we stand. But I don't know. Like I feel like this whole context of Arsenal having 3 games after we play against Southampton, I don't see them applying the full pressure because they don't have their players. They don't have their forwards.
But what does that leave them though, right? Like, so is it like are we all on 10 matches left except for them? I think they have 11. Is that what it is, or something
Only
like that? Right?
we have 10. Only us
10.
and Villa
Oh,
have 10.
and
Everyone
Villa
else
have
has
10,
11.
right?
Yeah.
Because we played that match.
Yeah.
Right. So everyone else has 11, right? So that would make so 8 matches left, and like again, you have to go damn near perfect, and I don't know if you can see that with them.
No, fuck no, no, I don't see it at all.
Let's be real here. Like last season, that match at the Emirates away, the league fixture away. I think all of us felt it was a big one. Like it was an actual big one, but because we beat them in the League Cup, like it was, was the FA Cup. FA Cup. Yeah, I think it was just sort of like, by Liverpool fans, maybe just like, it's just Arsenal, like they have, and to their credit, they went on a massive run, and the whole Dubai vacation, whatever, and they came back and all that stuff. The thing is, that's with like Saka and like no injuries, and you're starting like Raheem Sterling's coming off the bench for you. Like, I mean, knock on wood.
Or he plays number 6.
Or he plays, and it's Marino.
Yeah,
like
Marino.
Yeah, like I mean. And so anyway, but I mean, to their credit, they've actually done quite well given all of the challenges. I mean, to be fair to them, I would say that, but that's only because they've had a decent sort of defensive mindset and whatever else. But other than that, like that guard of honor is gonna be just injected right now. Inject that right into my veins.
Can we get one? Can we walk into Belfast Love and get a friggin' guard of honor from the?
Right? Let's go to the Midtown. See what happens.
Is there one in Midtown too?
Yeah, that's Arsenal.
Yeah, the Midtown, right?
Midtown.
No, I think they moved to Belfast Love now. No.
Oh, are they all there now? Okay, yeah. Then
they've rotated. Belfast Love has rotated so many clubs in and out of that space, like it's unbelievable. But
I think Sachin, though, owes us, had mentioned that he went there recently. So I think there's some still following there.
Yeah, him and Yusuf. I know this story.
He had a bit of an experience. Yeah. So shout out to Yusuf and Sachin, by the way. And those two guys better go back in there. Obviously, with some backup to, just
I'm surprised when you talk about Arsenal, and you compare them to Liverpool in terms of like, if we had like all of our front hurt and all of our
like last season,
our 5 strikers or whatever else,
pretty much like
don't they have an under 21 guy or some kid in the back, like somebody good?
Yeah,
like Jaden Dan's 18 years old. I mean, Harvey's already 17, but like we have a pipeline of folks that we have no problem in the system taking someone and putting them into the spot. And I was saying in the chat earlier that like literally, Dan, me and you could be like in the center forward with all the guys around us, and we could just close our eyes. It'll hit us in the ass, it'll go in, but we're gonna score. And so in the concept of these guys, I'm really shocked that they don't have someone to put in that space. Or tactically speaking, Arteta doesn't know. Like put Wanyeri in there, put some do some shit. Like do some stuff.
That's what I was gonna say.
Michael Marino in the middle, like.
I mean, their injury situation is drastic. But I think it's Arteta's fault that he didn't. And there were Arsenal fans. I remember like watching different shows and whatnot. Like they were clamoring for Wanyeri to get some game time, like when Odegaard was out, and so it's not like So I just put that on the manager at the end of the day. Like he tries to put this front up that he's in control. We got this, over my dead body.
And all
that kind of stuff. And it's like, I get it. You have to exude confidence. You got to bring that. But like, bro, like you can't be dropping 3 points at home against West Ham. Like it just, like you do that and you're asking for like ridicule and like, all that bats and all that stuff.
So on Arteta, right? not only is he friggin' giving Everton energy anyway, right? You're an Everton legend, bro. Like, you are an Everton legend. Like, are you even an Arsenal legend as a footballer? But anyway, you're not hard, man. You're not hard. Like,
You're
stop
not.
acting
No,
hard.
You're
Like,
not.
stop acting
Exactly.
hard. Mikel Arteta, stop acting hard. Like, you're not hard. Like,
Exactly.
you friggin',
Not
you're
at
in a
all. Not at
croissant. Do you know what I mean? Like, you are not hard. Like, stop acting hard. Like, what? Like, I don't know. Anyway,
You
it
know,
is
but
what
you
it
know,
is.
but is it despicable? I remember after the derby and like I think some of the Arsenal media had asked him, "Hey, did you watch the match?" and all this kind of stuff, and he had like this like very like arrogant smirk or comment around it, which is like bro, like
Yeah.
you're not hard, like you said, yeah,
Yeah.
and
He was
what's
on the
crazy about
front.
that? Yeah, no,
Sorry,
no,
mate.
go ahead.
I was saying he was on the front cover of that program.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, in the
talk
program,
about a
yeah, exactly.
loser convention.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
imagine
yeah.
how sad you have to be as an Everton club to put another team's manager on the front because
Have you
they're our
seen?
rival.
But have you seen their fan base? They've actually put Luis Enrique as like my club, my manager, like literally like on social media, of course. This is not the
Yeah,
official program, right? Which is a whole other
yeah,
thing. But this is like on social media, but they're actually like how could you live like that? You know what I mean? And support like that. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
I
baffling.
mean,
who's making
even
those
if
decisions? Like, who's
I don't
making the decision
yeah,
on not even the like on the actual running of the club, the social
yeah,
media? No one's going to be
forget
like,
about
oh,
that, Jake, forget about that. They named their store Everton 2.
like,
Everton 2 in Liverpool City Center. Like that's how petty their shit is, man. Like
yeah.
that's how petty their shit is. Oh my god. Sorry.
You
I
know
mean
what?
just
All clubs do make mistakes and PR
yeah.
errors and stuff, but like, I don't know. There's just different levels to this stuff, right? Like, to
Yeah,
put
that's
another team's manager who left you on a transfer deadline, like,
mhm.
Mikel Arteta left Everton on a transfer deadline to sign for Arsenal. Like, he just bounced.
Yeah.
Wenger wanted him and he
I,
just bounced. And like, that's the guy who you're gonna put on the front of your program.
oh my god,
It just
so
the
funny.
mind boggles, man. The
Yeah,
mind boggles.
it's just the mentality there,
Yeah.
But
If I ever get that sad, if we do fall off and say like, Man, you come back on, or God forbid Everton come back on, just
yeah,
check me, man. Just check me. Like, is
we'll check
this
it
episode 42, just remind
for you.
me like you weren't
Yeah.
supposed to do this, because like, I never want to be. Maybe I was that petty. Like, everyone knows, like, I spent a lot of time in Manchester growing up. Maybe I was that petty when Fergie's teams were dominating. Maybe I was. I don't remember being that petty,
Not
but maybe I
not
was. But
not
like,
to that
it's
level, right? Or
sad,
maybe.
man. Yeah,
No, it
it's
is sad. It
so
is
so
sad. It's
sad.
just jealousy. It's that kind of like, yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
Right, folks. Well, we're almost at time. Take us home, Jake. Tell us about some of the stuff going on at OLSE Toronto, Mr. President,
Oh,
sir.
so I am very proud of the community that we just went to the Daily Bread Food Bank and we did some charity work. That was great, and that stuff is near and dear to many of our hearts. And just doing the good for the community is fantastic. It's just wonderful, right? We try our best as volunteers to give back to the community, and it's great. And so there's going to be more things to come. So that's just wonderful from our group. Upcoming, we've got our Yeti cooler this month, in terms of our draw, and also in a couple weeks' time, we're going to be choosing our grand prize winner, grand prize winning draw to the two expense paid trips to Liverpool for the Spurs game. Like, literally, like no other clubs around the world is doing this type of work. I'm just saying, right? So I'm not saying that we're the best, but we give so much to our audience and our membership. It is unbelievable. It is crazy. If I show you the 10 or 15 kids on this couch right now that are signed and ready for our community, it is unbelievable the things that we are doing and building, and it's fantastic to say the least. We've got some really good things going, and we really do appreciate out and supporting the group and just doing the right thing. We're creating something fantastic, and it's up to you guys to show up, and you're all doing that both in Elephant Castle and the Sly Fox. So we appreciate that. As well as we have a pop-up shop coming from our Soccer World folks. So please do come early. It's going to be some remaining stuff, some Canada stuff, some remaining stuff from the Nike collection. So as we get to the Adidas stuff, so look for all that stuff. But this is great. We've got a lot of good stuff happening in the next couple of months. So appreciate your support and coming out. So we've got some good things and up the Reds.
Amazing. So yeah, come out on Wednesday, come out on Saturday. It's a party. It's a party all the way till the end of the season. We've had some great turnouts recently, even for the midweek game. So yeah, we're expecting a big one this time. This is Champions League. It's the big one. It's the really big one, and especially with how it's going in the league, there's such a good feeling as well. The only thing, great summary, Jake. The only thing you missed out is just how many people of ours are going to Anfield as well. We've got so many people going to Anfield all the time, right?
Yes. I just sent tickets just yesterday. Actually, we've got 8-10 folks going to Southampton game. And you know what the amazing thing is, not to mention it's face value tickets, but there's like those 8-10 people have never been to Anfield before.
Crazy.
Imagine in this foray going to your first match and experiencing this in the slot atmosphere, and they're all on the same row. They're excited. Evie sent them the notes. Hope they see Andy at Taggies. Get all that stuff going on. See the Anfield rap guys. Just everything. I'm so happy for them that we're able to do that, and then they're gonna have the time of their lives, which is great. Thanks for that, Zach.
Yeah,
amazing.
Really great.
Dan, anything to add?
Yes, I have one question for you. Is Mohamed Salah the greatest Premier League player of all time? Maybe I'll park that question for another pod, but anyway.
From my perspective, talking with other fan bases, I've just said I'm waiting till the end of the season because the way it's trending, like if he can basically break everything at this point, if he does, because he's player of the season twice. There are people who did it 2 times. If he does it for the 3rd time, he's out on his own. He's won 2 or 3 golden boots. If he wins a golden boot this time, he's out on his own. He did it. He could potentially get the highest assists of all time in one season. So again, he did it. If he goes and gets Ballon d'Or, then one by one, all of your arguments like Henry, Ronaldo, blah, 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 like they all drop. And he's been doing it for 7 seasons. So, you know what? Let's just see how it goes. If you look at like some of the other candidates, they're very credible and they deserve to be up there. And it's a huge if a man breaks all of their like top season records in one season and like achieves the team success again, I think it's a no-brainer. But he has to do all of that, right? Like so far, it only looks like the league is happening. But if he was to win, like a couple of other things as well, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, at least okay. So greatest player of all time, but I would say like the season-wise right now. I mean, he's on pace for, knock on wood, all that kind of stuff. He has to do it. I get all that, but like,
so we have had a couple of comments, and funnily enough, they are from Sachin and Yusuf. So, so Sachin's like, "Hey guys, glad to see the show back. No, there's one in Midtown too." So he's obviously talking about that Arsenal pub. They have a few around the city. And then Yusuf writes, "Family, miss you guys. See you at the pub soon." And then Eric B as well. This is the famous rapper Eric B.
And
what's
Rakim?
Up, man?
Rakim.
Yeah,
Rakim. Sorry, Rakim.
Yeah,
Rakim, Rakim.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, boys. Guys, this was awesome. We will be back soon and see a bunch of you on Wednesday. Up the Reds.
Up the Reds,
man.
Bye, folks. See